Hello. A very good morning, and when mother, and thank you all for being present. I was expecting very large crowd, but we have um, very few, so we thought we'll go online for those who are not present here, because many have classes, and classes are not possible to be altered. So I thought I'll go online with this. And very importantly, today's workshop is about AI and entrepreneurship, startups. And I thought I'll discuss about startups first, because we have introduced a paper here in this college on startup and enterprises. So I'm anchoring that paper, and some of you might be anchoring it in future. It's a very, very important discourse. இன்னைக்கு காலகட்டத்தில் வந்து ரொம்ப முக்கியமாக பேசப்படுற ஒரு விஷயம் வந்து ஸ்டார்ட்அப்ஸ்ன்ற ஒரு விஷயம். What if you don't have a job? Have you thought about it? That is the question I'm asking everyone, because it all started, my startup journey started way back in 2019 when I was in Muscat. My visa was not renewed because there was a lot of Omanization was happening. The locals had to be given jobs. So whatever jobs that expats were holding were given to the locals. So last come, first go basis, I lost my job. And my son was just 1.5 years old. He was a baby. And my wife was unemployed, of course. And I didn't know where to start when I'm coming back to Chennai. So what I thought, very importantly at this point in time, is why don't I have my own startup? So I started Justart. I said Justart, that is going to be the name of my startup. And I'm going to go ahead with this particular version of it. And I required some kind of guidance, which already I had, because I was handling a 20 credit module on entrepreneurship, creativity and innovation in Glasgow Caledonian University, Muscat, Oman. So I was well equipped with not only the theoretical underpinnings, but also the requirements that are required for to start a startup. So I registered with the MSME. That is the first step that you do to have a startup. It's not very, very cumbersome. It's very easy process where you register at MSME, give a name for your startup and register, and then you go ahead with whatever that you have decided plan for your software, for your startup. You can have a plan and a business model. So what we are going to discuss for the next 3 days is what a startup, what is it going to do for you, what best thing that it can do for you, how to go about in developing your startup, and how to use AI for your particular startup. So I said 2019 I started my journey, but it didn't end there. It was just a beginning. And in 2025, I was able to have rich information as to how to lead my startup. I had very rich information. I had been visiting colleges, working in colleges, and visited about 15 to 20 colleges in Chennai. I've delivered workshops. And with this experience, what am I going to do? So one thing that I found is I was also involved in delivering a design thinking, innovation and design thinking module that I developed while I was in MSIJC, which in fact had the paper, and I'm a certified design thinker. So I was called upon to deliver this particular module. I designed the module, made it as a coursework module, and there started my journey with AI. So I'm basically not a software professional, but I had software training, but that was 30 years ago. I had rigorous training in Oracle and Visual Basic, and it was about 30 years ago. But that helped me in understanding the nuances of AI. And I used Firebase Studio, which is actually a no-code platform, and very casually I developed an idea, framework, a project. I tried and tested out. I developed about 9 projects, and I was able to see that outcome that I decided and discussed. I wanted, and I was growing quite fond of Firebase Studio on the no-code platform, and I wanted to use it to the maximum. We can't live without AI. AI can't live without us. We all fear AI, but we don't look at the benefits that which it offers when we collaborate with it. We always think that AI is going to take over our jobs. No, I don't think so, because first and foremost thing is you are the life and blood that is feeding AI to take a direction that it has to take. Second thing, you are providing with the purpose, intent, and meaning as a human being, because you have the lived experience and also the memory which can guide AI. These are the very essential human factors that will help you in future to engage with AI, because you are the sovereign individual who can provide with the context for the AI to develop whatever outcome that you want it to develop. So I would like to say that starting a startup is not going to cost you much. Think it like a backup plan. You worked for someone, you earned knowledge, and you gain something which is very, very important. And in today's context, you don't have to know a lot of coding, because the whole world is moving towards no code platform. And in future, definitely there are going to be people who are going to develop their own personalized, customized applications on their own using no code AI agents. So this is the world that we are in now, and it is not going to cost us much. I developed a very complex application trying to augment human intelligence. I worked on it, and that's why I said this is going to be a better thing to discuss and advocate, because it is not going to cost you a penny. Google has got a lot of space for you to experiment with, provides a lot of freebies which you can try and do. You have a no code platform where you can prototype, develop your own application, and move on. So, what I would want to mention here is that they would want to, if you would want to have a backup plan, start right away. Just start. Just start. Start right away and have your MSME registration, then have a plan, see what is that you're going to develop, and use the no-code platform if you're not very familiar with coding. It is going to be as easy as that. It's not going to cost you much. So make use of this wave and ride on it, and definitely it is going to give you a lot of scope to move on. And with this, I just would want to start with first, what is a startup? I just want to be as comprehensible as possible. I don't want to get into the technical details. I don't want to get into the theory. Startup is something it's a business of your own that you start, and you're the founder, and you get it registered either as a proprietor, or even if you think that you have the funds to register it as a private limited company, you can. But to start with, you don't have to. Just an MSME registration and Udyog Aadhar is more than enough for you to be recognized as a startup. And then there are few things that we'll be discussing as to what is required. But first thing is to register at an MSME. So that's what I've done, and I'm MSME registered. Justart.live is my startup name. And I've been working on that for quite some time, accumulated a lot of knowledge, have had a lot of workshops. The purpose I've almost fulfilled, for which I've been I started this. It's more a kind of a social innovation, and I didn't want to get too very much into the profit angle of it. And at one point, I was also working for an organization, for an NGO, where I developed the minimum viable product for trying to distribute required knowledge. I'll be discussing about it if you want more in detail. This MEP worked, and we developed a digital platform for children's center all over, I mean, almost in more parts concentrated in Tamil Nadu, particularly in Koilpatti and other regions. So there were a lot of children's center owned by this NGO. Sidar is the name, and few in Madurai. So we tried to digitalize the CRCs, Children's Resource Center, using a platform that is very much available. It's just a plug and play kind of a thing. So what I did was, I was fond of IoT, and I wanted to integrate IoT into it. Almost developed into a one-touch solution. During COVID times, they were accessing information, kind of having access to a lot of information. We wanted to develop it further. By the time that we were developing, I moved out and gave the proposal to the organization, and it's all intact. And there was funding that was granted by UK-based charity, and what minimal funding, whatever was required to digitalize the CRC, and we went on. So that is one MVP that I developed over a period of time, and it's still functioning. It's well. And I was also involved in interacting with colleges, students, and delivering modules and workshops. So that, in fact, fulfilled the purpose of my particular startup, and I was very much engaged, and also engaged as a part-time resource person for MSAJC, and in fact, that provided a lot of impetus. So what I've developed now is something that is built on a no-code platform, and it tries to augment human intelligence. So one thing that I found over a period of time in my journey is that humans were becoming very anxious about the invasion of AI. AI is not an alien invasion. It is something, a reality that we'll have to all understand. A lot of people were thinking that AI is going to displace their jobs. I was also wondering in this particular angle, and I was not really convinced, because I belong to a mental health background, and I'm trained in mental health. And since I've been trained in mental health, both positive mental health and also abnormal mental health, so I know the broad contours of it. I know I can understand human beings and their mental well-being. But this anxiety, I thought, was meaningless, because, as I had said before, AI is just a machine. It can calculate data points and give you an analysis. But who feeds it is the human being, life and blood, contextual, provides a purpose and intent for AI to move on in the particular direction that you desire. So very importantly, This was the rallying point for my particular journey, and I started this and developed a platform of 36 intelligence domains where it tries to train, test, assess, and give a 360-degree feedback on a particular intelligence level. So 36 levels of intelligence. It's not an IQ test, but it is trying to train you to develop your communicative intelligence so that you can engage AI better. You understand the nuances of AI and also learn to communicate well, think clearly, emote well, empathize, and communicate clearly with AI. So that was a very important step that I thought I should bring in. That's a rallying point of my particular innovation, where I developed this platform with about 150 modules where learners are trained and assessed and given a feedback as to what their level of quotient is all about. So this became very important point for me to take it further, and just let's have 5 minutes to reflect on. Then we'll move on to the next one. Fifth hour, of course, 12 to 1 o'clock. You're free enough to just browse through. We'll have some interactions if possible, and we'll try to take it further in the next few minutes. Thank you. Okay, so what I thought is we'll close by 12 o'clock and we'll come back at 2:30. Again, I would request you all to be back at 2:30. We are going to have this time spent for reflecting. Try to browse the web, try to develop something based on your understanding, and try to see what is your interest. If you're interested, if you're passionate, this is going to be a life support system for you. What if you lose your job one day? What is the backup plan that you have? So think about it and see what best you can do in this direction. Thank you very much. Reflect on it. We'll meet back after lunch, post lunch, 2:30, because I have a session. So 2:30 we'll meet up.